Greetings to all story lovers. Today, we're going to hear an ancient oral story that our ancestors have told for many centuries. These stories, told by the ancient Indians, which are slowly fading away. We aim to keep these stories alive and share such stories. Please support us. Now, let's listen to an ancient Indian tale about a guardian god of villagers. Even today, some families still show respect and honor to their ancestors who died a long time ago. They might have a special place at home where they remember and pray to these ancestors, like a guardian spirit. Let's hear a story about one of these guardian spirits. In a beautiful farming village called Kanchi, which was ruled by the Chola Empire, there lived a happy couple named Satsaruma and Parvati. They wished for their first child to be a girl, but instead, a boy was born to them. They prayed for a girl, but the second child was also a boy. The third child was born as a boy too. Finally, God's mercy fell upon them, and their fourth child was a girl. They named her Lakshmi and raised her with love. Lakshmi's three brothers showered affection on their younger sister Lakshmi, and she grew up to be a shining light for their family. Years passed. One day, the Pandya king attacked the Chola country and needed men for the war. Lakshmi's father went to fight against the Pandyas. He died bravely in battle. Now, Parvati had to take care of the family. They had a farm on the edge of the village, near the forest. Wild animals often came into their garden and destroyed the crops. When their father died, Lakshmi's brothers took over his work. They cultivated their crops on the other side of the river and stayed there to protect them from wild animals. They came home only one day a week. When they did, one of them stayed to guard the crops, and the other two came home. Parvati would bring food to them in the garden at midday. To get there, she had to cross a jungle river with knee-deep water. The fish in the river are evil and could bite people. Every day, when Parvati crossed the river, she took a bowl of rice for the fish. She would throw the rice into the water when the fish came towards her. The fish would eat the rice and leave her alone without biting her. One day, Parvati took her daughter Lakshmi to the garden. Lakshmi spent the evening happily playing with her brothers. After that, she told Parvati, "I take food to my brothers every day." But Parvati did not let her go to the garden alone. One day, Parvati fell ill, and Lakshmi had to take food to the garden for her brothers, by herself. Parvati gave her a big bowl of rice porridge in a separate bag and said, "When you cross the river, put this rice ball into the river for the fish." Then she sent Lakshmi to the garden. On the way, the bag with the rice fell down somewhere, and Lakshmi didn't notice it. When she reached the river, she got into the water and started walking to the other side. Hundreds of fish came rushing towards her. Lakshmi looked for the rice ball, but couldn't find it. Then she realized that the bag with the rice ball had fallen somewhere. She told the fish, "I lost the rice ball. I will bring you food when I come back." The fish left, and Lakshmi went to the garden and gave food to her brothers. She was happily talking to them and forgot about the fish. After everyone finished eating, Lakshmi remembered the fish. She wondered what to do when the fish came back. Quickly, she gathered the leftover rice scattered on the ground and rolled it into a ball. She had an evil idea. She took off a glass bangle from her hand, broke it into powder, and mixed it with the leftover rice to make a big ball. Then, she said goodbye to her brothers and left. As Lakshmi crossed the river, hundreds of fishes came rushing. She fed the fish rice bran mixed with glass powder. The fish that ate it had their stomachs hurt and felt pain. Angry, the fish bit Lakshmi's leg. Lakshmi fell into the water because of the pain. The fish bit her arms, legs, waist, stomach, and face. Screaming, Lakshmi got out of the river and ran home. Parvati was shocked to see Lakshmi covered in wounds. "Who hurt you?" she asked angrily. Lakshmi was afraid her mother would beat her if she told her about the glass in the fish food. So she lied, saying, "The youngest brother hit me with a thorn." The youngest brother loved Lakshmi very much and would never hurt her. Parvati was furious with her youngest son. She comforted her daughter and put medicine on her wounds. That weekend, the first brother and the youngest brother came home. When Parvati saw her youngest son, she became very angry. She hit him and beat him. The youngest son didn't understand why his mother was beating him and fell down. Parvati's hand hurt from hitting him. Only then did he understand that his sister had lied about him. He thought, "Sister, why did you tell such a lie? What's the reason?" He couldn't understand, and the pain from the beating was mixed with his mental pain. He lay down with a fever. No matter what they did, the fever wouldn't go away. The youngest brother didn't return to the garden. He died from the unending mental pain. Lakshmi cried inside. Because of the little lie she told, her brother's life is lost, she screamed in her heart. After Lakshmi's last brother passed away, the flowers stopped blooming in their village. Lakshmi loved flowers a lot. Every time her brother returned from the garden, he would pick many wild flowers and give them to Lakshmi to make her happy. But after he died, there were no more flowers in the village. 7 years passed, and Lakshmi grew up. Now, her mother Parvati was looking for someone for Lakshmi to marry. They found a groom, and the wedding day arrived. Lakshmi's brothers tried to make the wedding arrangements, but there was a problem. In their village, it's a tradition for the bride and groom to wear garlands made from flowers that bloom in their village. But since there were no flowers anymore, they couldn't make the garlands. They searched everywhere, but couldn't find any flowers. Without the garlands, they couldn't have the wedding. The situation arose whether the marriage would happen or not. Parvati, Lakshmi's brothers, and Lakshmi prayed to their god in the temple, asking for just 10 flowers to appear. Then, the spirit of Lakshmi's youngest brother entered an old grandmother who was standing there. He cried and said, "No offense to me. My younger sister, whom I loved very much, falsely accused me. That's why I died of sadness." Lakshmi, heartbroken, fell crying at the feet of her brother, who had become a spirit. She screamed and begged, "Please forgive the wrong I did when I was young." She washed her brother's feet with her tears. Only then did Parvati and her 2 brothers understand the truth about what had happened that day. Parvati, her brothers, and Lakshmi bowed down to touch the feet of the grandmother, who had the spirit of the youngest brother, and asked for forgiveness with tears in their eyes. He said, "I'm not angry with you. It was my destiny. It just happened somehow. I'm not angry with my sister either. She was a little girl and said something without knowing. I still love her," he cried. The youngest brother then said, "Lakshmi loves flowers. There is nothing wrong with me, which is why I made the flowers not bloom in the village so you would understand one day." Lakshmi bowed to her brother. "My dear sister's wedding will not be complete without flowers. Go to the grave where I was buried. There, you will get flowers for her wedding," he said, and left Grandma's body. Grandma fell to the ground. Parvati, the brothers, and relatives rushed to the grave where the last brother was buried. On a plant that grew in the grave, only one flower was blooming. They wondered, "How can we make a wreath with just one flower?" They picked that flower. Immediately, another flower bloomed. Each time they picked a flower, a new one appeared. This way, they got baskets of flowers. So, Lakshmi's wedding was celebrated with a garland made of flowers blooming from the last brother's grave. From that day on, Parvati, Lakshmi, the brothers, and their family made their last brother their family saint and worshipped him daily. They celebrated the day of his death with a festival to honor him. Friends, this is a tale from long ago that our ancestors told us. It teaches us that even a small lie can sometimes cause big problems in our lives. It's also about the love between a brother and a sister. Many of the guardians and spirits our families worship have real stories behind them. Sadly, some people who worship these good spirits as gods don't know their true history. So, we first learn about the history of our guardians. Then, we can learn the history of the next god. See you in the next story.